I think, Furzana, you're so true. Every day, no matter what you're doing, you stop and give time for you. And I think we forget to do that. We get so engrossed in what we're doing.
I really wanted to ask you, Victoria, I wanted to get into why you felt that need to be perfect, because I've been down that road with the caregiving. And then I had that realization, right?
Yeah.
Because like you're trying to show the whole world you're so put together, but inside you're crumbling, right? But you want to show that you're the perfect, caregiver, you're the perfect wife, you're the perfect mother. And it took me so long to ask for help. I really did wait too long.
Growing up, my mother was a very, very judgmental person, but she was also a very intolerant person. So you did not cry, so it's something that you just didn't do it, because then she would say, I'll give you something to cry about. And she would. So, I learned real quick to try to nip that in the bud. But she was very just, the impatience of like, go hand me something and you're on your way to get it. And she would be like, now, not in the middle of next week, just very critical all the time. And I was horrified of that. I was horrified of never, first of all, it's so hard on a little kid to never feel like you can please your parent in any shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
And so then you feel like you get this false belief system that if you can't please your parents, then you're damn sure not going to be able to please anybody else, right? Because they love you more than anybody. So it's just when I really began to untangle all of the false beliefs, can I just tell you they're crippling? They are crippling. They really are crippling. To be that in bondage by your own brain, by your own thoughts. And then when you realize none of that shit's true, you're like, I have wasted my entire life thinking all of these things and none of them are true. Thank God I know now.
Freeing, right? That is so freeing.
Yes, it is freeing. It is freeing. And the great thing is, yes, I lost a lot of years, but I know now. So I guess if I could help somebody that's 10 years old or whatever, for example, my grandkids, I never, if they say, oh, I'm not good at math or I can't draw or whatever, I'm like, who said that? That's you saying that. That's what you're believing. Never speak that over yourself. Never say that again, because you can do anything you want to do. And I truly believe, and I have to tell myself that all the time about these reels, because I'm like, I really do suck at this. Like, I don't feel like any personality comes through. I just feel very stiff. And like you said, nobody's going to want to watch this or gain any knowledge from this. So it's something I have to constantly tell myself too, like, get out of your head. Get out of your head with that.
I think it was Debbie who sort of hit on it, but we were always taught and raised to not make a spectacle of yourself, to show yourself, right, in any way, or to, like, if we went to a wedding, we were told, you sit down, you sit, you stay in one place, and we weren't the ones that ever got up and danced or anything like that. That's what I'm like, fuck it. I am old enough. I always say I'm old enough and ugly enough to do what I want. That's what I say.
You're not old enough, but you're old enough to know better and too young to resist is what I used to say. I'm old enough to know better and too young to resist. And I think we're too young to resist this opportunity. I think we're too young to resist helping people. I think we're too young to resist not leaving a legacy. I think it's important to me to leave a legacy to my family, to my children and grandchildren. With all of my grandchildren, I have a book, and I write in the book about special times I've had with them. And for my granddaughter, I've written a lot of things about what not to do.
Oh, wow.
Don't put yourself on the discount rack. Don't settle for something less than what don't put yourself on the end of the season sale rack, because you have so much to offer this world. You don't have to be less than. You don't have to accept a man in your life that is beneath your values, beneath what you are, just because you feel like that's what you deserve.
It's funny you say that, Victoria, because and that's the one thing that I don't like. I'm not up myself, but I always knew that I was a good person. I'm not looking like physical or whatever, but I knew that I was a good person. And because I felt like I was a good person, I always felt I deserved a good person. And I was really blessed with someone who was really good in my life. My husband was a wonderful man. And that's the one thing that I've never sort of compromised on.
Right.
And I always remember thinking, I want someone who will take care of me. And I think that's, if young women could just understand that you need to know your value, you need to know your true worth,
Absolutely, you
right?
do. Yes,
Because when you
yes.
know your value and you know your true worth, you will not settle for less than.
And I
And
didn't know. I didn't know it until 5 years ago. That I really am a good person, and just because my parents or my family did some things that were outlandish, I didn't do those things. That's not.
that's not on
But
you.
no, but in saying that, I always settled for less in relationships because of what I was from. I felt like I didn't deserve any better, and I just always settled for less than what I believed in. That's hard. That's hard. So it really took me, I just had to get to the end of all of that and realize I love people. I want to help people. I've never hurt anyone in my life. I'm a good person, and I deserve good things. I deserve a good life. I deserve peace in my last days of life. I don't deserve chaos, which is what I'd always only never ever known. And I think you do get addicted to that, because it took me a while to not have that feeling of dread and doom, or like something bad's going to happen, or you know what I mean? Like, it took me a time to soak in the peace, to soak in the tranquility, and to realize it's okay. I'm not just on vacation. This is okay. I can live life like this. And that's what I choose to do now.
That's lovely. Well, you had to break the cycle, and you can't
You
break the
do.
cycle if
And if
you're
you
not
don't,
aware of it. Yeah.
and
So,
that's so good you said that, because I was reading a book, a self-help book, and it said, if I don't break the cycle now, then my grandchildren,
well,
because it
well,
goes on to your
go on.
children and then your grandchildren. My grandchildren are going to have to be breaking the cycle. And I was like, oh, hell to the no. That's not happening. I'm going to break it. I'm going to show my children I'm a different person, in that I value myself. Even where they're concerned, I don't let them, if I don't want to do something, then I feel like I'm worth saying no. Where I used to just would say, okay, and do it anyway. But now I'll say, you know what, that doesn't work for me. Let's try a different time. I was so afraid of being rejected, but even by my own children, that I wouldn't say no.
No is one of the best things. You know what I always say, and this is like from years of learning, that when you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. And the no to something else, usually something for yourself, right? Because
Absolutely.
so the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're saying yes to all these people, what you're doing is you're taking away from yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather say yes to myself and no to other people. It's taken me a really long time to make that shift.
And
But
people don't like it.
no, they don't. They
They
don't like
think you're selfish. They think you're all consumed in yourself. And hey, I'm just trying to stay alive. Like I'm trying to not let y'all kill me here. So that's a very good point, though. When you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to
There's something,
yourself about
yeah, to
something.
yourself. And I'd rather
And,
say yes to myself. So
I used to feel, and I still do have to fight it. But if I rest, like yesterday, I rested most of the day. But if I do that, I feel so guilty and worthless. Like, oh,
don't.
I didn't bake 12 cakes and 3 hens and 2 doves today. Like I didn't earn my keep, so to speak. And I don't ever want anybody to feel like that.
I am
You know?
so the other way, because I am going to
Yeah.
tell you, in life, you have those periods where you're go, 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 go. And I don't know, I went completely the other way. I'm like, if I don't have time for myself in the day, then that's not a good day. So I
Right.
always, like, if I'm busy doing something, I will always stop and give myself time. And
Good
that's
for you.
because of what happened with, like, having no control over emergencies.
Absolutely.
I had a summer
Yeah.
where in like less than 2 months, I think we went to emergency 11 times for my husband. 11 times. Craziest. And that, never knowing, like, never being able to plan holidays, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to dump my kids at my neighbor's because I have to take my husband to the hospital and all that stuff, right? That constant made me realize. And then after obviously he passed away, it was that constant of making sure the kids are okay, selling the house,
Yes.
downsizing,
Yes.
doing
Yes.
this, sorting his papers out. After that, I was like, I'm never going to put myself in a situation where I feel I don't have control of my day. And I didn't realize that that's kind of been the perpetual thing, where now I'm so scared. And it literally today is the breakthrough. I'm so scared to go back to that place where it's like meeting, like social media, that by the end of
Yes.
the day, I'm exhausted. And I feel like
Right.
I've had no time in the day for myself.
Yeah.
But I can control that, right? If
Yes,
I can
absolutely.
consciously, because this is not emergency, it's not health, this is business. And so I can schedule my day and control it. But I was feeling like the train's running away a little bit, and
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe I'm not going to have control. Like, what happens if it gets to a place where I absolutely have no control over, because I'm beholden, set, I've made this commitment to these people and my clients, and I would love to do that, but I want it to be in a way where I have the control and it's not
Yeah.
like,
Your mental health has to come first.
right, right,
And I think not until we get to the point in life that we realize my mental health, if I don't have my mental health, I'm not going to be good for anybody else.
yeah,
And being a caregiver, I told you the first time I met you, Rosalind Carter wrote a book, A 36-Hour Day. There's never any rest. Even if you are resting, your mind is still twirling. What if tonight's the night we go to the ER? What if tonight is the last night? What if, what if, what if? Are my kids getting enough nurturing? And, I'm dealing with all of this. And there's only one of us,
right,
you
right.
know, and we try to spread ourselves so thin. We don't try, but we allow it to happen. And
We
the
do
good
it to
thing that
ourselves. We do it to
right,
ourselves.
we do, we allow it to happen. But the good thing is you've been through it, you recognize it, and you're not willing to do it again.
No,
And so you can time it, you can check it, you can schedule it out, and you can also change the schedule. You are in full control.
this is true.
You're in full
This is
control.
true.
Yeah.
And you know what? You think you're doing really well, and that's why I think it's important for me to talk about this. And I really should. It affects you in so many different ways. Like, somebody was asking me, why, why I haven't married again and stuff like that. And I was like, this, and I didn't realize until I spoke to someone, I had some therapy, that I was like afraid that the next person would be someone that I have to take care of. And I was like, I physically, mentally, I cannot ever do that again.
Yeah.
Only, God knows, the universe knows where my future lies. But I was like, I cannot do it again. I've done it once. I just can't. Like,
I just
the
always
thought.
say you can be married when you can't be anything else.
So,
And people leave me alone about it.
yeah, but it's the craziest thing that I think immediately I go to that place where I'm going to attract someone who's going to be dying. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Well, and not to mention even that, but when you marry somebody, they're going to have baggage. They're going to have children from another marriage, 9 times out of 10.
yeah,
They're going to have all the shit. And I used to tell my daughter, you don't need to get married early because you can pick up dirty socks when you cannot do another thing else on earth. And that's kind of, I'm not trying to sound negative, but I am negative about it because marriage has not been good to me
oh,
because I've made
it,
the wrong choices. I put myself on the discount, like Mega Packa, which is like a secondhand store. Like I didn't even put myself on the clearance rack in the never been worn clothes. I was like in the shit show clothes,
oh,
and I just
but my
I have to
experience is totally different.
apologize.
In my experience was totally, I had a really good one, right?
You
So,
did, but I still understand the fear.
but you
You
see,
know,
and
yeah.
because I had a really good one, like I always say,
Oh,
he gave me such a good life that
you could never
in
dupe
a
that.
heartbeat, I was very honored to have been the person to have
Yeah.
taken care of him, because
Mhm.
that was his journey. He was going to go through that. Whoever was with him, he was going to go through that.
And he
And
was
I
blessed to have you.
yeah, but yes, he was, because he did, he did
He
say to me,
absolutely
yeah.
was blessed to have you. Yeah.
I remember
Y'all
him
had a
once.
sweet
Yeah,
you had a sweet marriage, Furzana.
yeah, he was
And
he was a
you're
lovely.
so, y'all laughed, you loved, you procreated. I mean, you did the things that life is about.
Yeah,
And so you have that sweet memory. You may find somebody again one day that you want to share that part of yourself with. But if you don't, that's okay
yeah,
too.
that's just it. I feel like I had a very blessed life with him. He gave me such a good life. He was a good father. He was a good husband. He was a good brother, son, everything, you name it. He was such a good man. And to my whole family, they called him the jewel in our crown. He was just a really good man.
Oh,
And so I feel like I had that. So I'm at peace in that respect. Like, if I never meet anyone, that's okay too, because he kind of set the bar really high. So, like, up there,
right,
and
right.
yeah,
It would be hard. Yeah.
it would be very hard. He, bless him, he was a brilliant cook as well. And then he would iron my clothes really well, when we went out.
Oh,
Just like,
yeah. You hit
so
the jackpot, the mother
I
lode.
really, I really
Yeah.
did. He was like, and then even after he passed away, he made sure we were taken care of. So I feel but that kind of experience, the caregiving, the intense emotions, like
You
what
lose
we
your
went
identity.
through with him, and that roller
Yeah.
coaster, and not that has really scarred me, and I didn't realize it. I thought I'm a strong
Yeah.
person, I can handle a lot. But as I go through the years, and as I'm sort of thawing out, and I do feel like I kind of hardened myself
Mhm.
to strengthen myself to be able to take care of him, I'm kind of thawing out. And as I'm thawing out, I'm really realizing that it affected me in such a profound way that it
Mhm.
actually changed me quite a bit.
Well, and plus, caregiving is hard enough, but each and every day that you're a caregiver,
Right.
that you're saying goodbye.
But
Wow.
those last few years and a few summers, I can tell you the horror stories that I could tell you
I'm
would just blow
sure.
your mind. And they're etched in my head, right? They're etched in my
Yes,
mind.
of
Like,
course.
the things that I cannot unsee, the things that I cannot, take that experience away.
Yeah.
And I have to
Yeah. That's
realize that's a part of me now, and I have to make peace with that. And I don't think I've really made peace with that. I think I've tried to sort of pretend that I'm okay with it. And when I look back, I think, how did we survive that? How did I
yeah.
get through? How was I able to be so strong through that? Like, how
I,
come I
I,
didn't crumble?
yeah. I think God gives us energy, especially when we need it during
Yeah.
times like that to take care of people and all of the things. But I know, like with my mother with Alzheimer's, it was the hardest thing was just the long goodbye.
Yeah.
You lose a piece of them every single day. The caregiving's hard. It's horrible. It's
It's not easy.
terrible. But you don't only lose the person, you lose your identity.
Oh my
You lose
God.
who you are because everything you have become is solely what they need you to be in that moment
Right.
and in that time, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever they need you to be for them, that is what you are, whether it's the housekeeper, the nurse's aide bathing them, or, the doctor helping prescribe what's going on, explaining to other medical professionals. It's hard. It's very hard. And it's okay to wonder, how you get through things, but it's also okay to take your time in finding yourself again.
Right.
And you can't rush things like that. Nature takes over, and you will find your balance. You will find your new normal, as they say, which I don't know why people say that because I don't even know what the hell normal is because I've never met anybody
There's no
normal in my
such
life.
thing, right?
I'm
There's no such.
definitely not normal. I'm Abby normal. But yeah, so it's okay to acknowledge that and to realize, okay, I had to go through that in order to be who I am today. And who I am
Absolutely.
today is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm an awesome person and I can help other people and all of the things.
Oh, listen, when people say to me, like they hear my story and they say you're really strong, I say, I know, I'm phenomenally strong because what I
Absolutely.
went through, and my kids at the time when he passed away, they were 9 and 14. And my 14-year-old, when my husband's chemo was failing, we found out my 14-year-old had a heart condition. And I
Oh,
remember
wow.
going, I was like, God, I was like, for fuck's sake, right? I can't take any more. Do not give me any more because I'm not that
Right,
strong. Because I was like, what
right.
more can I take on? Chemo's failing, and then now I have to deal with this. And it's like,
Yeah.
do I take care of my husband? Do I focus on my son? And on top of that, I've got another, little one. And it was just so much. So I know that I'm phenomenally strong. But I went
But you
from that. I mean, I buried my husband, and a month later, I took my son to the hospital for his heart procedure,
oh my gosh.
and so I think I kind of shut myself down, thought I was okay,
Yeah.
just focused on everything else, went straight into volunteering. But you said something which I've said for a really long time. I think when you become a caregiver, so we were going through these ups and downs, and I honestly thought the rest of my life was going to be the ups and downs. So I
Yes.
remember at one point saying to myself, you are going to be doing this for the rest of your life. And in order to be able to do this, I resigned myself that I was going to be a caregiver
Mhm.
near the end, right? Like it was about a year left or something. And then I said to myself, you're going to be a caregiver for the rest of your life. You have to make peace with that. And in
Mhm.
order to do that, you have to give up
That
the
is who
dream,
you are.
the aspirations, the
Yes.
things that you
That is
want for
who you
yourself, because that is the only way you're going to be able to do this job properly. So when I lost
that
him, I lost my job in essence. I lost
of
my job.
course. Your
I lost my
identity?
husband. I lost everything, right, in that respect.
Well, and you were his wife, so you went from being a wife to your husband, a caregiver to your husband, all the things.
Yeah,
It's just like when I retired, I lost a part of who I was because I had been at the beck and call of my clients forever. And I didn't know what to do with me
Right.
at all. And I went through a spell like, wow, what am I going to do with my life? Like, I don't even know who the hell I am
Right.
right now because I have jumped through hoops for other people my entire life. And it's scary and it's hard and it's a balancing act to finally get your feet back on the ground and say, okay, maybe this is who I am. I
Right.
still haven't figured it out, but I'm trying.
Well, you're
So
rediscovering yourself, aren't you?
yeah,
That's what we're
and
doing.
you find out things about yourself that you like. I love to draw. I love to paint. And I've never had time to do that in my life. I've never had time to explore just playing with a canvas until it looks like I want it to look, you know, or taking a long walk and just meditating in solitude and taking that minute for yourself is, I think, the best medicine possible for a person. Yeah. And
Yeah.
for so long, I think in my younger years, I was not so comfortable alone, because my life had been so chaotic and I just really didn't know what to do with me. I didn't even know who I was, honestly. And I look back on those times and I was like, once you get in life and you start having kids and life gets busy, you wish you had 10 minutes alone. So I think it's very important
Oh,
for
I love
people
my
just
alone time. And when I get on social media, I'm going to encourage people to flip the script on selfish and make it selfish. That's what I've been talking about. That's what I've been writing about. I just encourage you to put yourself first. You have to put yourself first because, like, you should be, we always talk about the hero, the heroine of your own story. Like, you need to be the main character in your own story. And so you've got to, like, focus on yourself, what's best for you. And then every day, what is it that you do for yourself? Like, how do you take care of yourself every day? And if you're not doing that, then you don't find something and do that. And I truly believe that this week, what's your body saying? I,
yeah, slow
I
your
think
roll. I'm tired.
I
Yeah.
need a little break. We need to slow down here. When you don't do it for yourself and you don't realize it, but you're actually sometimes running on empty and you're running on fumes, right? And then when you slow down and you stop and you just crash, have you ever had that? Like you'll go, 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 and then as soon as you're not doing anything, you just crash. Sometimes you don't do that and your body says, hold on, I'm going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it forces you to stop and take care of yourself. So
The
don't let
body
that
tells
happen
the
again.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah. The body always tells the story.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Breakout. Hope you liked it. And if you liked it, please leave us a comment and also subscribe us on YouTube as well. I'll see you soon.